Hello everybody, and today we are reviewing the Zoom H1 handy field recorder, which I have right here. Now the Zoom H1 is definitely one of my favorite audio products, hands down, because it is so versatile, it's so awesome, it's so easy to use, and it is very value for money. So if you are new into video making, I definitely recommend you to get a Zoom H1 recorder unit because it is just so good. It adds a lot of production value to your video. Now the Zoom H1 is a very simple item. So basically it is a recorder, it is a microphone in itself actually. It has an XY microphone module. It's basically two small diaphragm condensers mounted in a XY configuration pattern which you cannot modify. It's fixed there, and of course you get line in and you get line out. Now in fact, I am actually recording onto the Zoom H1 right now as we speak. I'm using the ATR3350 lavalier mic plugged straight into the Zoom H1, and you can hear that there's completely nothing wrong with the quality. Alright, so its layout is simple enough. It's basically, you get a record button on the front, nothing else. On the sides, you get a USB port. Let me bump up the ISO here, it's rather dark. Alright, so here you have a USB port and you have your power switch, and then there's also a hold function. When you slide the switch to this position, it locks the button on the front and all the other buttons. So if you try to press anything, it says it's on hold, which means it basically locks down all the buttons so you don't activate any of them by accident. This is good if you, let's say, plugging a lavalier mic and you want to put the Zoom H1 just into your pocket, and you don't want to risk pressing on any buttons while it's in your pocket. So you just put it on the hold position and leave it there. And when you want to stop the recording, just remember to pull it back and then stop the recording. So we have the delete button, the playback buttons, input level, and on the other side, output level, and there's your micro SD card slot. Now the Zoom H1 takes micro SD cards. Now at the back, you have the slot for the battery. Now the Zoom H1 takes one AA battery as its power source, and the Zoom H1 also has, alright, on the back, you can toggle on and off the low cut filter. I have it on off. And you have auto level, that's the Zoom H1 adjusts the audio level automatically depending on how loud it is. And then you have your recording format, either WAV or MP3. It can record up to 320 kilobits per second MP3 and 96 kilohertz at 24 bits WAV. So that is some serious data rate there. Alright, so a few things about the Zoom H1. So it only has one input, so you only have one 3.5mm jack, so that means you can only put 3.5mm accessories into it. You cannot put a 1/4 inch or XLR. You cannot plug any 1/4 inch or XLR into it without a adapter. And also the Zoom H1 has no phantom power supply, obviously, because it's such a small recorder and it runs on one AA battery. But still, it's something to keep in mind. Phantom powered condenser mics will not work with the Zoom H1. Now the preamp on the Zoom H1 is actually pretty nice. Now you can hear that my lavalier mic is a pretty cold mic. The output is quite cold, so I have it on 90 right now on the levels, and you can hear most of the noise is just from the room. Now there's very minimal noise actually coming from the preamp of the Zoom H1, so that is pretty good. Now another cool thing about the Zoom H1 is the USB port right here. The Zoom H1 can be used as a USB mic or an audio interface. So all you have to do is just pull the USB cable over and plug it into your computer, and boom, you have a USB mic. The Zoom H1 can be used as a USB mic, and it can be used as an audio interface. So very nice feature. So now let's switch to the XY mic on the Zoom H1 and see how that sounds. So I'm gonna unplug the lavalier mic right here. Alright, so the Zoom H1's XY mics are actually very sensitive to wind. So I'm just gonna give it a slight blow. So if you're using this outdoors and a wind blows without a wind filter, your audio is gonna get completely unusable. So if you buy the accessory pack that comes with the Zoom H1. It's sold separately at, I forgot how much was it, but you will get a foam windshield in the accessory pack, so let's put that on. Alright, so with the foam windshield on, you won't really have to worry about wind anymore. Yeah, it's greatly reduced. It won't clip your audio due to all that wind. And you can hear that the audio from the Zoom H1's built-in XY mic is actually pretty good. Now, it's not as directional as true small diaphragm condenser mics, but then it's good for recording a lot of ambient noise if you want, and it's stereo, so you get left, right sound. So it's a very good feature to have. It's right on top. So let's say if you're doing interviews, you can just power on the Zoom H1, hit record, and just stick it in someone's face, and then you will get rather clean audio out of the Zoom H1. And of course, when you're handling the Zoom H1, a lot of the handling noise transfers into the mics. So be careful when handling the Zoom H1, such as knocks, even button presses, like the volume button right here. It all shows up in the audio. So do keep that in mind. But apart from that, you get completely usable audio out of the Zoom H1. So very simple audio recorder, the Zoom H1. You get completely great results out of the Zoom H1, although you don't get phantom power, etc. from the Zoom H1, but it's fine if you're just gonna use battery powered mics, and as long as you don't stick any large diaphragm condensers or any condenser mics into the Zoom H1, then it'll be fine. So again, I highly recommend the Zoom H1. So a great feature of the Zoom H1 is it's so small, so you can easily stick it in your pocket and record audio on the go. And if you're using lavalier microphones, it's great to be used with the Zoom H1. You can just plug it into your Zoom H1, keep the Zoom H1 in your pocket, and done. You don't need any wireless transceivers, anything. You can just record straight into the Zoom H1 and hide it in your pocket because it's so small. So that is pretty much it about the Zoom H1. Highly recommend the product. Go get one if you're new to audio or if you're new to video. So thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.